And hello there. Welcome to our pop-up event, How to Claim Your Superpowers in 2023. I'm Dr. Brenda, sociologist, financial coach, founder of Gutsy Women Finances Community. Also, I'm a full-time RVer traveling the USA with my 3 cats. I'm coming at you today from South Padre Island. This is my winter home. It is blowing out there, very windy, so I hope you can hear me okay. Going to give you a little secret. Now, I want you to come into all my live workshops. We do so many fantastic things, but I don't record those live workshops. Over the course of several years, I realized that, you know what, finances, it's a really personal issue. Lots and lots of stuff comes up when you talk about money, when you talk about your dreams, and you talk about, the things that you learned growing up. So I want you to be totally secure that when you join me live, that is a confidential discussion. I'm not going to put that information up on the internet. So that's why I do this pre-recording. A second reason is because, hey, I mentioned I'm an RVer traveling the country, and sometimes my connections are not all that great, and I might be going live and I might, lose you. This allows me to come at you with a clean recording. No technical glitches. The third reason is that I know that your time is valuable and you might want to speed up this recording to get to exactly where you want to be. That's okay. This makes it so much easier. So welcome, welcome, welcome. And again, I invite you to pop into our live events because that's where the discussion takes place. That's where we can get to the heart of what's going on with your dream life, what's going on with your finances. So welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you so much for being here. A little quiz. Do you know what this is a photo of? Big quiz, right? So this is a Fresnel lens on top of a lighthouse. I visited the lighthouse. They had a one-day event right before the holidays where they lit up the Fresnel lens. And this is a photo of it. And I love lighthouses. Lighthouses sort of symbolize, here's our direction. Here's how we're going to find safety. This is what guides our way. And I love that idea because everything that I do here is about guiding you on your particular journey. I would love for you to, hey, you can pause this anytime. You can pause it right now. Grab a notepad, grab a pen, okay, because you get to write some stuff down here, guys, okay? So I want you to participate fully. Get rid of the distractions. You got a phone, put it on silence. Shut all the noise out. Turn the TV off. Let's focus and talk about your superpowers as we go into the new year. Okay, so this workshop, this is not for everybody, but here is who I make this for. Number one is you want to focus on your strengths. You're going to really benefit from this workshop. Second thing is you really want a deeper understanding of what's holding you back, what's getting in the way. Third thing is you're eager to actually take those steps to use your superpowers in the new year. Now, this is not for everybody. So if you're somebody who dwells in the past, you're not really interested in self-improvement, this might not be the place for you. I'm all about self-growth and helping you on your journey. The second type of thing, if you don't take responsibility for your actions, if there's always an excuse, you're going to blame somebody else, this workshop isn't going to be the best deal for you. The other thing is if you shut your doors to opportunities and possibilities, I can't really help you very much. So if you feel that this is for you, stick around, and I hope you're going to get a whole lot out of this workshop. I'd also want you to think about the questions that you might have that maybe I haven't answered in this. At the very end, I'm going to give you my email address. Ask me those questions, and I'll be happy to address those for you. A little bit about me, okay? So I talk about superpowers, and there are times in my life, especially when I was younger, where I thought, I really don't have superpowers. I'm just pretty average. You know what? We all have superpowers. So this is one of my favorite moments, exhausting moments, maybe my most exhausting moments from 2022. I hiked up Mount Washington. This is in the White Mountains in New Hampshire. And the elevation isn't all that high, but this is one of the deadliest mountains, the deadliest short mountains in North America because of the weather. So this is when I went into New Hampshire the first week. I mean, I loved to hike, but I didn't realize that there were all these, like, it's called 4,000 footers, all these peaks that are 4,000 feet and above. And these are old, ancient mountains. So they're a lot older than the ones on the West Coast. So 4,000 feet, some of these mountains are quite dangerous. They're tough. They're difficult hikes. And so I hiked up one of the 4,000 footers, and I got a little bit addicted. I'm like, wow, this is really great. And I'm like, you know what? Mount Washington is that's the pinnacle of all those 4,000 footers in New Hampshire. And I think there are 29. I mean, there's a lot. Mount Washington is the tallest, deadliest, scariest. And I'm a planner. I have learned that that's my superpower. If you had asked me when I was in my 20s and 30s, I would not have said planning was my superpower because it came so naturally to me. You know, I just thought everybody else planned out things the way that I do. Well, I learned as I got older that they don't, that I am a super planner. So, you know, Mount Washington, all of those peaks, I had this planned out. Mount Washington, I moved way up to the front of the line because the deadliest part about this hike, about Mount Washington, is the weather. And I had a really nice, beautiful, sunny day in front of me. And it varies. I mean, you could have 70 degrees below, and it could be 20 degrees up at the top with no visibility. Highest wind speeds over 200 miles per hour. Crazy weather. So I moved it ahead of the schedule, ahead of the pack. It took me 11 hours. I spent maybe an hour at the top, relaxing, getting some food, and before coming down, but 11-hour trek. But I have learned that I am a super planner. So one of the things I did is I bought this, some refer to it as the White Mountain Bible. It's got this guidebook in here. It's got all of these maps. I'm geeking out over this, guys. I mean, I live in an RV and I don't have a lot of space. So when I buy something, it's got to mean a lot to me, you know, because it's going to be sitting up space. So right now it's January 2023. I've already got my time for 2024 heading back into New Hampshire and back into Maine to do more hiking. I'm looking at this. Which peaks can I combine? Which campground is closest to it? I love this stuff, right? So that has become one of my superpowers, but it is also something that I would say was somewhat hidden because I just thought everybody did this. So that's partly my story. 2023, Gutsy Women Finances. I'm going to give you a little secret here too. It's January. I have every month planned out. I have a theme for every month. I have the theme planned out, my workshop scheduled, everything set for the entire year. I'm called a procrastinator, guys. Procrastinator. I do things before they're even assigned. So that is one of my superpowers. And throughout this, I hope you're going to think about your superpowers, your talents, your skills, those things that a lot of times, you know, you don't think of it as your superpower, but the fact that you're buying the guides and you're enjoying you're doing what you're doing, somebody else might think, what are you doing that for? And you like it. That's actually one of your superpowers. So one of the things that I want to be upfront with you about is, you know, I offer these free workshops as part of the Explorer program in Gutsy Women Finances Community. That is a free program. I am going to talk to you about the Wealth Builder program as we get towards the back end of this presentation. So that is my heads up to you. I would love to be able to help you in a much greater detail, and that is my paid wealth builder program. So just up front, I'm going to talk to you about what's going on in January in that program. January is get your shit together month, okay? GYST. That's what it's all about. Getting 2023 off to a fantastic start. Now, what we're talking about today is superpowers, but it's also, I mentioned the whole planning thing. Financial freedom. To me, there's financial freedom, and here's what it is. It allows you possibilities. It allows you to chase after your dreams. You can take some risks. It gives you time. Financial freedom is the reason I'm out here on the road, the reason I can afford to do the things that bring me joy. It gives me the flexibility of my time. It gives me the time to do things that bring me joy. That's what financial freedom is about. So what we're going to talk about today is just a tiny little piece of the larger program. I like to say, and this somebody asked me, said, what's the secret behind financial freedom? And I said, it's really this basic: dream, plan, save, do. You got to have a dream. You make a plan, you save and invest your money. And then the hardest part is taking action. You get to that point where it's like, you know what? It's time to step into that life. So I just want you to, a heads up that what we're talking about today is part of a much, much larger program. Okay. Are you ready? Are you ready to talk about your superpowers? Say, you know what? Let's start to build this habit now of getting out this piece of paper and this pen. 1 to 10, are you ready? I want you to be ready because we are going to dig into the workshop. All right. What I'm going to talk about today are 3 obstacles that I see very often in terms of people even recognizing their superpowers and then taking action to move forward, and how you can shift, what kinds of shifts you can make so that those obstacles are out of your way. All right. So, number 1. Okay. What have you been told? What have you been told about yourself? I can't tell you how many times I've heard somebody say, "Oh, I'm a dummy. Oh, I just can't do that. I don't know math. I'll never figure out finances. I can't even add." We've been given a whole package starting when we're very young of things that people have told us that we can or cannot do. We're good or we're not good at it. So part of this is ask yourself what you have been told about who you are and what you can do. What are your skills and what are your superpowers? Because, my friend, you might have a superpower that is so layered under some of the negativity and some of the things that people told you that you don't even recognize it. So I'm going to tell you this story of a young journalist. She graduates from college and she gets her first job. It's a cool job. She gets on the on local network news. It's Baltimore, early 1980s. You know what? She gets fired from the job. She's just not network news material, is what she's been told. She's been told that she gets too emotionally involved in her stories. Now, we're all deal with failures, right? And sometimes there's not always a great match between the job we pick and our superpower. So this young woman, she gets another opportunity. She leaves Baltimore, ends up in Chicago, starts a talk show. You know who I'm talking about? A woman by the name of Oprah Winfrey. Okay? We all see what she made out of her life. Her superpower was connecting with people, interviewing people, talking to people. That was her superpower. It is her superpower. It wasn't a great fit for the local news. So this is whatever people have told you in the past that you're good at or you're not good enough. Maybe you haven't found the right setting where your superpowers can really take hold. But what you need through this is to understand that those are things, those are messages. They are ingrained in your mindset, in your thoughts. So part of the challenge is turning those thoughts, those negative thoughts that we have about ourselves that say we're not enough, we're not smart enough, thin enough, ambitious enough, we're not whatever, we're not enough. We've got to turn those thoughts around. We have to instill in ourselves that, you know what, I have the power to create my own world. I'm going to be enthusiastic about life. I'm going to be confident. I'm going to be motivated. I'm going to be somebody who inspires. Happiness is a part of what I can achieve for myself. So the shift has to be internally in our thoughts, and it has to become routine, things that we tell ourselves on a daily basis. So your superpower, whatever it may be, and don't say you don't have any, because you do. Think about how you can bring those superpowers into your daily life. But always tell yourself, you know what? You have all the possibilities ahead of you. Keep those negative thoughts at bay. Be positive about what's ahead of you and who you are. You know, we'll talk about this in a bit, but you know what? You can always develop superpowers too. You're not necessarily born with them. Now, the second thing that I was hinting at is, what if your superpowers are hidden? So I talked about the ordinary being actually not so ordinary. So I'm going to tell you the story of another person, and this is a woman. Her husband dies, and so she's widowed, and she's in her 80s, and she begins to dabble with writing short stories, and she submits them to some smaller magazines, connects with some editors. They give her suggestions. She rewrites the story. She resubmits. And that woman is now published dozens of small stories, and she gets paid a little bit for this, but her name is out there. She's published in a lot of these smaller publications. That person is my mom. Okay, my mom has this superpower of writing short stories that she developed in her 80s. She didn't write short stories in her 70s. She didn't write stories in her 50s, in her 30s, in her 20s. She just sat down one day and started writing, and decided, you know what? I read these stories all the time. I've got some good stories of my own. Maybe I can do this. And over time, her skills have improved. She's learned, you know, what gets published and what doesn't. She's created those relationships. But ask yourself, you know, don't be hard on yourself. Maybe your superpowers are actually hidden. You know, do ordinary stuff in an extraordinary way. Maybe your superpowers are, you know, baking cookies. Okay, you think that's really simple for you, but I can't bake good cookies. I can't get bread to rise. I'm not a baker. You might have these skills that are actually extraordinary. So think about the things that you enjoy doing, that you feel like, I think I'm pretty good at this. It could be writing. It could be graphics. It could be logic, figuring things out. It could be anything. If you can't think of anything right off the top of your head, you can always go to Google and just put in, inventory of skills, and making your own list of skills, things that you do really good at. I am really good at taking something complicated and turning it into simple step-by-step things. That's what I do. I'm really good at creating graphics. I love doing these workshops. I love public speaking. Not many people do. Think about the things you enjoy doing. Those are your superpowers. Okay, but write them down. Write them down, because writing stuff down is the starting point. It can swim around in your head for years. Got to write it down. That is taking action. That is when we start to move forward. Okay, so we've talked about sort of your mindset, the way you're thinking, as that can be an obstacle. We talked about, not really knowing what your superpowers because they're hidden. What else is an obstacle? What about your kryptonite? What do I mean by kryptonite? Superman had this thing that rendered him powerless. It zapped all of his power. It was this green mineral from this planet, that mineral called kryptonite. He couldn't get close to it because all of his power just disappeared. So think about what your kryptonite is. Now, for some of you, it is a pattern that you've created for yourself. Maybe it's an addiction. Maybe it's something that you know is not good for you, and you're just having a hard time avoiding it. I'm going to tell you what. In in my world, in the world of personal finances, here's what I'm going to tell you. A lot of women suffer from in terms of their kryptonite. What's the kryptonite? The kryptonite is procrastination. I'm going to do this tomorrow. I'm going to, you know what, maybe when I retire. And I've seen this happen over and over again, especially with finances. People put this off and they put their dream lives off. And I've seen people retire. They're going to have this great time. This is somebody I knew, couldn't wait for retirement, going to go scuba diving. They retired into sort of a recession, didn't have the money that they thought they would have, and just became depressed without that work. They didn't really have a plan, became depressed, and died after several years of really not living a joyful life. And I've seen this happen so often. We procrastinate, we put it off because there's always tomorrow. And there isn't always tomorrow. When you start looking at the time that you have in a day, do you really want to be flicking around on the TV channel for an hour? I know sometimes we're tired and we just need to relax and goof off, but we only have so much time. And as I work more and more in the terms of financial freedom, it is time that it buys us, the time to really spend the time doing what we want to do. So think about the kryptonite, your kryptonite. Are they, is there a bad habit that you've got? For some of us now, like I gave up drinking a couple of years ago. It's just a bad habit. It's like, do I want to spend my money on this? Do I want to spend my time on this? Does it make me feel great? No. Is it good for my health? No. Have I abused it in the past? Yes, I have. And I feel much better and not distracted since giving up alcohol. So whatever your kryptonite is, it might be one big thing. It might be several different things. It might be procrastination. Whatever it is, write it down on this piece of paper and stop putting it off. Tomorrow might not come. Okay, so those are three of the obstacles and three of the shifts that we can make. That first obstacle is the negative thoughts, and a lot of this arises from our childhood, the things that we're told, the things that we're told even today. That second piece of it is that what we see as ordinary, we don't recognize as extraordinary. So, it's hidden. Our superpowers might be hidden. Maybe we haven't developed them yet. So, the way to get through that is to write down those superpowers, start looking at how you want to grow. That's the shift to make. That third shift is the kryptonite. That can be the most difficult shift because we've got to shift our behavior. We can shift our thoughts, but now we've got to shift the behavior. We have to shift the habits. We have to start to do things differently. So those are the types of shifts we're talking about. Now, I want you to go on this journey with me. So please join me in this little visualization exercise. I want you to take a deep breath, sort of let things settle, let yourself calm. and close your eyes. So I want you to go on this journey. Imagine that you're walking on this beautiful forest path, and in the distance, you hear the rush of water. As you walk toward the sound, you can feel this electricity in the air. This energy, that energy is all around you. It fills your soul. You round the bend and you see this magnificent waterfall. There's mist coming from the waterfall that forms a rainbow in the sky. Now you begin to feel lighter. Any of those negative thoughts have left you. You're going to say goodbye to those thoughts forever. What's left is self-confidence, determination, contentment, and even joy. You feel strong. You have everything you need to build that life that you only dreamed about. Now, as you take in the sight of that rainbow, you let go of all of the things that are holding you back. You are here in this moment. Time stands still. You have no worries, no obstacles. As you look beyond the rainbow, all you see is possibilities. You are opening your heart to receive joy and love. Your days ahead look bright. I want you to carry this feeling into your day, into your night, and return to the waterfall when you want to ease your worries. Let the rainbow bring lightness to your soul. Know that you can do anything. You have the power. You are strong. Take another deep breath and slowly open your eyes. How did that make you feel? How did it feel to get rid of those obstacles? And I want you to ask yourself, what has been my obstacle? What has really held me back from moving forward, to recognizing my own superpowers, to living a life that I really desire, that I deserve? What has been my obstacle? So I mentioned at the very beginning, we're going to talk about the things that I can help you with in Gutsy Women Finances in the Wealth Builder Program. 2023, this is a brand new year. It is Get Your Shit Together month. It is time to get moving forward. So with your permission, I'm going to go ahead and talk to you a little bit about the Wealth Builder Program. And this is my premium program. It is a paid membership. You can pay month to month. You can get a discount when you pay for it annually. Every month, I move through a new theme. February coming up is Budget Love Month. January, our current month, Get Your Shit Together month. I have 2 live workshops, very detailed workshops that are going to help you really move forward. Our first workshop is January 4th. It is Set 3 Goals to Power Up 2023. It's not SMART goals, it is smarter goals, and I'll talk more about that at that workshop. The other thing that we talked about was, your kryptonite, your habits. So we're going to work on those habits. So those obstacles, by setting goals, you're also going to recognize your superpowers. You're going to be able to write down and prioritize what is really important to me in the new year. What's important to my life as I move forward. With the habits, if it is procrastination, if it is some addiction, we're going to talk about the habit loop and how to get beyond that, how to create a new habit, how to destroy a lousy habit, how to create a new one. Those are our 2 live workshops, but there's a lot more in our Wealth Builders program because I have all of the recordings, dozens of recordings from all of the previous workshops. You can go back and get information on how to invest. How do I get my dream life together? How do I save money? Is minimalism right for me? There's so many resources in there. There's also downloads, so you can get downloadable tools. I have more stuff coming up all of the time that is there to help you. I've got a little starter kit so that to guide you on how to get started with your finances, because it's financial freedom, but it's about your dream life. It's about giving you the time to do the things that you enjoy. So this is my invitation for you to join us in the Wealth Builder program. You can come in and out as you please. January, you want to get your goals together, but hey, you're already on the path for budgets. Join us in January, come back again in March. I'll tell you later what's happening in March and April and May and June, but fantastic stuff. I can give you the attention you deserve. You can power up your 2023 and your journey to financial freedom and that dream life. Okay. Now, if you have any questions, I want you to connect with me. And hey, I can't leave this pop-up event without a quote from Oprah Winfrey. Cheers to a new year and another chance for us to get it right. So I am wishing you all the best as you go into 2023. I have a word of the year. I'm actually continuing my 2022 word because magic does not correspond to the calendar year. So I am continuing with magic, and that is to see all the magic around me, but to realize that I am the magician. I am the person who is creating the magic. It doesn't just happen to me. I am the magician, and great things are in the future. Great things are in your future. So that is my wish for you as you go into 2023. See it behind a magical lens. See it in wonder. Bring action into the new year. Okay, I want to thank you. And again, invite you into my live workshops where we can have a personal relationship and I can answer your questions and we can just boom, get to all the things that are important to you. GutsyWomenFinances.com is where you can find us. And this is my email. If I didn't address your issue, you got something else you want to talk to me about, email me, Brenda, drbrendamoneycoach.com. Happy New Year. And don't forget about the waterfalls, the rainbow. Leave those worries behind. Thank you for being here. Take care now. Bye-bye.